everyone. I am so excited to bring to you today Ali Hassan. She is a good friend of mine. She is an expert in everything Shopify, TikTok ads, Facebook ads, email marketing, and she's phenomenal. So I am so excited that you have joined us here on our little show. So thank you, Ali.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'd love to know, and for you just to kind of tell our audience a little bit more about who you are, what you do, what your business is all about.
Sure. So, right now, I support Shopify brands with their marketing. That can look like website support or marketing channels like email, ads, things like that. Previously, I was a teacher. So, I taught web design and graphic design for 6.5 years. I actually learned graphic design in high school. So, I've kind of had my hand in some kind of communications aspect and marketing since high school, which is crazy to think about. But I'm a big proponent for career programs and setting up students to have like that kind of skill set. So now I support Shopify users. So that looks like website builds or redesigns, and
Cool.
then paid organic email marketing. And that's what we have fun with.
Wow, that's very cool. So how did you like transition from teacher of graphic and web design into like e-com and TikTok advertising and all of that?
Yeah, it's definitely come full circle. How quite literally COVID, like when everything got shut down, I found more time to do freelance work. So, like I said, I've kind of done freelance work since I was in high school, essentially. Like my first internship was marketing, and I didn't know I was going to be a marketer. I thought I was going to be a graphic designer. And then uh, taught for 6.5 years. I did a little photography before that, and I followed people like Marie Forleo, Jasmine Star,
Cool.
Sal Sincata, Sue Bryce, and these were all people who came from the Creative Live training programs back in like 20, probably 12, 13, 14. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, I would love to be trained by these people. And I didn't realize I needed like more business acumen to be successful with photography, things like that. So eventually I was like, I'm gonna go start teaching. So within my wheelhouse, I was teaching web design and graphic design. And then I'm like always at that point still taking random freelance work and photography work. And then when COVID happened, I was kind of pushed into like a 10-year plan was going to be to like have my own clients and business. And then it became a shorter plan, and that was great. And I'm happy to, like the version of me now would be like, is the 16-year-old version is very proud of, the version of business and like success that we're having now. So
Oh,
it's been
wow.
really rewarding.
Yeah, no kidding. That is such a cool story. Wow.
Thanks.
There's a few people too I know like in our industry too who have transitioned kind of from the teaching profession into freelance work. And I mean it is hard. Like being an entrepreneur is completely different experience, but it is so rewarding and it's really cool to hear your journey.
Yeah, I think even my first experiences with like thinking about client work and like to think you would still have imposter syndrome once in a while, like after doing the same thing I've been doing for so long, like it's very true. And I think that students, like I would have kids in my program for like 4 years, they would leave with like up to 11 software certifications.
Wow.
And when we would have projects, like I would help them with like client work, like from campus, and they taught me and helped me identify that sometimes the hardest part of what you do is working and communicating with other people. It's not necessarily your skill set that you've learned and that you're implementing and practicing all day, because that's like a you thing.
Yeah.
But they always like it's hard to talk to people, and like how do I convey what they want and what I want and what we think is best. So I learned that early on, and I learned that through teaching.
Wow, that's a great lesson to learn early on because it is true. It's like one of those things that just sticks with you like for years and sometimes it still pops up. But if you have those skills to communicate and kind of understand how to
Mhm.
get through that, like it makes such a difference.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's dive into TikTok ads because that is why we are here. So I'd love to know
Yeah.
from you, like what is the benefit what is the benefit of advertising on TikTok?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And the marketer answer is like, if your audience is on TikTok and you know that, that's where you want to tap into more better audience. And I only say better because TikTok has such a highly engaged audience. So people are on there for what is it? I think the average changes all the time, but like 90 minutes a day, the
Yeah.
equivalent of watching an entire movie. So that's a really highly engaged audience. The flip side to that is if your audience doesn't happen to be on TikTok, I wouldn't necessarily suggest. But if you haven't tried it, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So the benefit is tapping into new and really engaged audiences.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing answer, and it's so true because, and I mean, TikTok is still so new that it is a lot of testing and figuring out if your audience is there. So that's
Mhm.
definitely beneficial to know. And I know, like, even when we were getting into TikTok advertising, there was a couple of different ways that you could advertise through TikToks. There was the
Mhm.
Spark ads and then the promote ads or the created ads. Can you explain the difference between those two?
Yeah. So if you are familiar with any, um, like on Facebook, getting that boost button, if you're running like a Facebook page or Instagram page and they want you to boost. So promote is more like a boost.
Okay.
And it's kind of my opinion that they want you to get the taste in your mouth for the kind of success you could have with ads. So it's an incentivized, low risk way to see what could happen. There's nothing wrong with doing it, and especially if you are just so hesitant to spend money on ads, like why not? It's low risk. But a Spark ad, on the other hand, is a video that lives on your profile or somebody's profile, and you can have access to that within an ad manager. So in Promote, you're not really accessing an ad manager. There's not the whole like backend system that you need to worry about. With Spark, you can pull in an ad into the ad manager and do what you will with it. You could run purchase campaigns, follow campaigns, whatever. Um, Also with Spark, like if you put something on your profile that I wanted to run in an ad, the ad would run through the video on your profile. So it's an interesting way to kind of tag a post that already exists on TikTok and pull it in to do what you will with it with ads. So
Wow.
it exists, the ad exists as the video is on the profile with the Spark ad, and promote is like a boost.
Wow. Okay, so that leads us perfectly into this next question. So, if you were starting out, like, is the promote way kind of the way to get started, or what objectives do you really like that you would recommend to people?
The best way to get started, I would say that if you're in a cold account, so you just open Ads Manager, you're getting everything set up and you haven't run ads yet, TikTok, you kind of want TikTok to get to know who is best suited to convert, purchase, follow, watch you. So that being said, I wouldn't necessarily jump into purchase campaigns, lead gen campaigns right away, because you want TikTok to get to know the data essentially on who's going to follow you and who's going to watch a whole video and who's going to click through. So if you have nothing in place, the best way to get started, and I think this among organic only strategies might be controversial, but you can pay for community interaction, which will get your account over that 1,000 person threshold,
Wow.
which we know on TikTok is where we want to be. That's like a really great first win, to get that link in bio. So especially if you want to draw people to your link in bio, you can pay for community interaction and get those follows. After that, so we're talking top of funnel. So if you're kind of new to marketing, top of funnel is like, okay, people are becoming aware that you exist and that your page is here and that you have things to say, before they start kind of considering what your products are. So community interaction and then video views. So with TikTok ads, a lot is weighted on those video views, just like within organic, like your watch time.
Totally.
So you can run a campaign for video views. And what's also great about that is within TikTok ads, like I said, the watch time is so important in the TikTok algorithm. with video views, you can see what's working. So you might ask this in a little bit, but with TikTok creatives and TikTok ads, like it kind of eats up your creative pretty quickly as opposed to Facebook ads. And so you wouldn't really know that if you haven't run Facebook ads, but I think what I'm trying to say is you're going to test a lot in video, or at least that's the best way to get the most out of your TikTok ads. So when you run a video view campaign and you put like 4 videos in there, you can see what did better. Why did those things do better? That's kind of something you have to determine by looking at the results. But video views and then a traffic campaign is another way to get started. So TikTok needs to learn like, well, who's going to click on your ads? And so those 3 campaigns, you don't have to do all 3. You don't have to do all 3 at one time. But if you have a cold account, that's where you want to get started. So TikTok can know who is going to potentially purchase, and you're building audience.
Oh, I love that. And like, that's such an amazing way to get started too. Like even on TikTok, it takes, like, organically speaking, it takes like so many videos, so many different styles, different hooks, the whole shebang to figure out what works for your account. But using that strategy, you could definitely speed up the process to kind of see what the algorithm thinks will work for you, and then just replicate that. So I think that's genius.
Yeah. And it'd be a good combo to like sprinkle in, like if you're doing organic effort, and especially if you're paying somebody to put together killer videos like you guys do, like take those and see what kind of results the data in your ads manager is going to tell you.
I love that. And so even like in your experience with running ads, are more professional videos doing better with TikTok ads, or more like the original kind of authentic raw videos?
So I think I have kind of a controversial opinion on that. I mean, the getting started, the go-to way to like get results and data into your account is to go ahead and make a TikTok just like you would make a TikTok, use a Spark ad, have something that's really native. So the reason I say that is because if you are scrolling TikTok and as a user, you see something that's really polished, you immediately have a different taste in your mouth for what that content's going to be than if it looks like somebody's holding a phone, doing a selfie record in their car, super casual. But both can yield results. So if you're a brand who has professional video, there's no reason to say that you can't use that, especially if you have professional video because you don't have time to create more video and you've already spent time and money. So you can make use of any professional brand assets that you have. And it is, you can study really creative videos. Arc'teryx, I did an ad world training one year, and the creator of Arc'teryx ads spoke. And to me, like, I appreciate a super creative, polished video. It again comes down to what does your ads manager results tell you? So you can pit your highly polished videos against your very native casual videos and see what happens. It really comes down to the hook and creative. So I'm not ever going to tell anybody not to use their polished HD, like well lit, like super perfect everything.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it is a kind of a controversial opinion because, there's so many people out there that are like, the only way this will work is if you use like the raw, authentic stuff. But I really like that whole concept, especially being a freelancer, is, working with what they already have. And I think testing those two things is such a good way to start the whole process.
I will say for organic, it does kind of feel like for organic, and you tell me if I might be wrong, but for organic, like that kind of casual or less polished, do you find that works better?
Yeah, like there's so many things I could say about it. Like
yeah, right. I feel like we could talk about this for a while.
I
I have
know.
so many examples.
And it's true. Like it's one of those things too, where you do see accounts grow with professional footage, and it's very possible. But then you also see like a majority of accounts initially at least growing with that kind of raw, authentic video. So it is once again figuring out what your audience likes, figuring out, the hooks and the algorithm, what it's going to pick up. And there's so many different variables, but I definitely think that it is possible with both styles of footage.
I think one reason why I stick to that opinion on it is neither way is the perfect answer, is because I don't want it to hold somebody back, because so many brands go into like launching as a brand with like, we spent a lot of money on making sure we look really good. Okay, well, we can use that. Like, I don't want to have to tell you to go record. And even with clients, like I can request video and like, man, they might not have time. Well, what can we use? You have a professionally edited like video of yourself. Awesome. I'm gonna make use of that. So yeah, I don't want anyone to not start because they don't have one or the other.
Yeah, no, and that is gold right right there, because you don't need to hold yourself back because it's not all perfect, or you don't have a million hours in the day to record everything. So
Mhm.
that is a very valuable piece of information. And even just to talk a little bit more about the TikTok ads, like what kind of ad spend could you expect to spend when you're getting started?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That comes up quite a bit. So overall, it comes down to your minimum ad spend a day is going to be $20 a day. So if you're talking about monthly ad spend, minimum would be $600 a month. But what can that get you is kind of the question. So let's say we've passed through we've warmed up our account, we've gotten results with community interaction, video views, and traffic. So the next step is then, where should we land with ad spend? So $20 a day is going to be $600 a month. But if you really want to find out what your cost per conversion is going to be, and we're probably talking here about purchase ads. So how much is it going to cost to get somebody to purchase? And then how reliable is that going to be over a certain amount of time? So for example, if it costs you $10, like let's say you've spent $100 on purchase ads, and you've gotten 10 people to purchase, then it costs you $10 per customer acquisition. So you can't really just say, on a cold account, especially. So if we're talking about somebody just getting started, you can't really say like $1,000 a month will get you this much, unless you have some kind of data to already base that on. So if you are looking to replace your Facebook ad spend with TikTok ad spend, so maybe we're more of a intermediate level of like scaling our business, then you would have some Facebook data to say, hey, if we can reach this, then TikTok is now a viable option to replace or split the ad spend there. If you are a new brand, I would look up benchmarks for your industry on what clicks should be. And then obviously look at for us, it would be in Shopify. Like, I need to see my client Shopify accounts and look at the last 90 days. What is your conversion rate? What are your average order values? So it becomes a data question, and it's really something that's hard to answer without having some data in place already. Generally, when clients come to work with us, they're going to be between the $5,000 to $10,000 a month ad spend. And what that gives me is enough money to do multiple campaigns, right? Because they're $20 a day minimum. So multiple campaigns, multiple different conversions, and gives us that opportunity to implement a full strategy. I do like when clients come to me and they're like, we've tested some things, we have some data in the books. Can you kind of look at it and see, like, should we keep going, and like kind of audit it and say, hey, these are what, from my perspective, what the numbers are telling me. So that's a good reason to kind of go ahead, spend a little bit of money and see what that yields you. And it's not a good answer, but usually if you are looking for support, we like at least about $5,000 a month to spend. But everyone's order value is different. So if you have high cost of goods and a high order value, or low margin, it kind of means something different for everybody.
I think that's a really good answer, though, because I don't think there is any magical answer to like how much you should be spending. Like, if you have the money to spend, then you can spend more than that. If $20 a day is too much, maybe Facebook ads is like a better alternative just in the interim. But even for the people who don't necessarily have that $5,000 to $10,000 budget to spend with ads, I really like your other option of finding someone to conduct an audit with you. Feel free to run the ads, just get some data, and then give it to somebody who can actually make sense of all of the numbers to give you some advice.
Yeah.
Question for you. Do you like TikTok ads better or Facebook ads better? Or what's your kind of perspective
Yeah.
on that?
So one thing with TikTok ads that is really obvious, but also maybe no one's saying it as much is, okay, the videos are the most important part, your hook, what's in them. But it's less reading for the most part. Now, videos can have text overlay just like you would do with organic, but it's less reading. So depending on if that kind of suits the kind of ads you want to make, I think that's pretty awesome because I'm sure you've experienced on Facebook ads, like you're going to tap to read more and it's this long and you're going to decide if you read it or not. And your copy really is really important on Facebook ads. But with TikTok ads, really the script is very important if you're going to script out your video content, which you should. But if you, especially for physical product brands, video really helps convey what it is somebody's going to buy and why that's going to make them feel happy. So I kind of like that if you have a very visual brand, and you can convey that personality of your products and why they'll make you happy. It's such a good way to utilize TikTok and Facebook. Like some of our strongest campaigns on Facebook are the carousel swipe throughs, and that's great data and information. It's a great shopping experience, but I don't really know as much about the product until I'm on the product page itself. So I feel like you can make a stronger connection pretty quickly with the right TikTok ads. Now I will say we have clients whose audience is just they eat up their Facebook ads. They're super engaged on Facebook. And like for me to say, oh, you should expect the same results on TikTok. I think if you've got like a really strong winning thing going with Facebook ads, then maybe, stick with it. I think for marketers, it's really fun to run from a marketing perspective. It's really fun to run TikTok ads. With TikTok, they say that people are there for happiness, joy, and a fun, uplifting experience for the most part. So I think, from a marketer perspective, managing, creating, coming up with a TikTok ad strategy is really fun.
Yeah.
So are they better? The data will tell you.
Yeah, no, I love that. And even like kind of just touching on the TikTok ads just a little bit more, just one more question for you. When you are, starting to create that experience, what should you be promoting or buying? Should you be focusing more on followers or views?
So at the beginning, you need enough data for TikTok to have an idea of, eventually the thought process with ads for the most part, unless you're doing lead gen, is that you're going to run purchase campaigns. So you're going to run campaigns that the end result is somebody will buy from you. So is it better? Are you asking, is it better for followers or views?
Yeah.
Well, to get that link in bio, I would definitely spend a little bit of money. So we're talking about probably under $1,000 unless you're at 0 followers right now, to get over that 1,000 person threshold so that you can optimize your link in bio. And for video views, if you have money to spend on traffic kind of gives you the results and data and information that video views will give you. And so what that means is people are going to go click to your site, but you're also going to get that data on who watched, how effective is this video? Did people watch 100% of it?
Yeah.
So I would say definitely get over that 1,000 follower threshold for video views. If you have budget for video views and traffic, do both. If you don't, you can get to traffic and still analyze. Like the reason you would do video views, there's 2 reasons, is to get that data to find out which videos are performing best. The other reason would be maybe if you are a content creator and you want more views on your videos, you can use video views that way, but be prepared to answer to brands who say, are you spending money on your account? You have to be forthright about that, because a couple of things could happen is they are going to work with you. Your video doesn't do as well as all the ones on your account, and you'll be stuck having to spend on your videos. So it kind of depends what the end goal is there. But if you only have money for one, I would go for traffic.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm gonna have to rewatch this video a few times because there's so many chunks of gold and it's like it's so loaded. It's such a like TikTok ads is such a loaded thing, but it can get such good results. And like with that, like what would you say is the number one tip that you would give to people to start finding success or to find success with TikTok ads?
Yeah, and I think this kind of goes back to organic too, and the thought that you're going to be committed to making videos. And for some business owners, they can experience burnout with that. So in TikTok ads, be prepared to have enough videos to get the results that you want. And my best tip for that is to systemize your recording process. So I would like most people to start with 4 videos per campaign, and you're going to see which performs best. But with that, when you're recording, record 4 hooks, record the content, like the meat of the ad in 4 different ways, and record 4 different calls to action, or edit your video to have 4 different calls to action on it. So having this kind of method where you know that you're recording in different pieces. And what that allows you to do is that you didn't just record 4 videos, you actually recorded 12 different pieces that you can now structure into more than 12 different videos. So that will kind of capitalize on the time that you spend recording. And when you're editing, you can come out with more. And the reason why is because you're going to see kind of the creative gets used very quickly, and you'll have more to throw in there, especially when you can tell what's doing best for your ad account.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. That is so good. And I think so many people can take use of this advice because it really is when you start out on TikTok ads, it's like, what should I be doing? Where can people find you and follow you for more of your great advice?
Awesome. So on TikTok, I'm at Ali Hassan, ALLEYHASSEN, and on Instagram, the same, but with an underscore at the end. And then alihassan.com is where you can find me. And we are just now launching our community and education program. And if you want more information, you can go to go.alihassan.com/thunder.
Cool. Well, I will put all of those links in the description so that everyone can find you. Thank you
Thanks so
so
much.
much for joining us and giving us like a little piece of what you see with TikTok ads.
Absolutely.